Hey everybody, just give me a second here. I gotta tell you right now, if I get interrupted, it's because I'm waiting for a phone call from my doctor. So give me a second. I actually have a list of things to talk about today.
Work easily with Monday.com.
Stop that. Some folks had been complaining that for some reason YouTube was flooding videos with anything longer than 5 minutes. They were putting like 6 ads in them. I actually went in and took that off. Okay, so that you'll only get like a little banner ad or you'll get a video ad at the beginning or the end, but you're not going to get my videos aren't going to get interrupted in the center. Yes, make sure you're on live chat, not top chat. And which I'm not. Let me pop out. Oh no, I can't do that just yet because I have to. Hi, how's it going? Give me a second here. Now I have to go back. I'm going to give it another maybe 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, another 30 seconds or so, and then I'm going to make this unlisted. Hey, let me say hi. Beth Gourley, Seashell, Carol McKinney, Kathy Miller, and it keeps moving, so if I miss you, it's not my fault. Chrissy Rubino, Digging with Gage, Joe Mama, Julie from Florida, Lori McKenzie, Mama Cat. Hey, Furby, Paula, 123, and who am I missing? Autumn Leaf. So that's our participants. Now I have to go back over because I can see by the amount of people we have enough. People have probably gotten their notification by now. Let me know when you come in here if you're coming in by way of email notification. Not that if you come in by email notification, if you are not a Patreon member, if you are not a Facebook member, and somebody has been missing the action. Hey, baby. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes. Is a mama, darling. Nobody can see you when you're over here like that. Oh, I'm sorry. She's her mommy, darling. She's her mama girl. She's her mommy, sweetheart. Oh, you gonna sneeze? The best in all the world. And her mommy loves her. Loves her, oh, so much. 'Cause she's her mommy's sweetheart. She's her mommy's girl. Yes. She's her mommy's, what, careful, darling. The best pup in all the world. Thank you, darling. All right. There you go. Give mommy another kiss. Mwah. Where you go. So, let me just get back here so I can do my chat stuff properly because I'm not seeing any chat at the moment because I have it turned off on my phone. Give me a second here, folks. Oh yeah, 63 people watching. Pretty sure you didn't all come from Patreon or
voices, like
there we go again. All right, let me take my chat and let me go to pop out. Bring it back over here and then make sure I am on live chat. All right. Oops, shoot. Don't do that, Beverly. There we go. Live chat. So hi everybody. How's it going? Snack and cake. Skippy Jones, Little Debbie, Furby, Laurel, Amy Head. Hi everybody. How's it going? I'm sorry I've been unavailable for a couple of days. I had a pretty bad fibro flare, if you remember, and the Saturday was the only relief I got. And then, what's today? Wednesday? See, I've lost track of times. Today, Wednesday or Thursday? Let me look. Today is Thursday, see? And so by Monday night, I was in a really rough place, mentally, emotionally, um, not spiritually, but in reality, when you're mentally and emotionally in a dark place, your spirituality kind of takes a back seat because it's 2 against 1 kind of thing. And it's hard to go through sometimes. Hello, today I get those shots in my back. Is that a good thing? I hope that's a good thing. If it is, congratulations and hooray. I'm having a hard time still. Every once in a while. All right, let me look at my list. So, okay, first off, somebody mentioned in the last live stream that I was being insensitive to the people who had lost family members and friends to COVID. All we were discussing was the COVID tracker on your phone. And it's totally voluntary, whether or not you want to do it. And like whether or not you want to participate. And I just said, well, it's just one more way of them tracking us. There's nowhere to hide anymore. That's got nothing to do with me being insensitive to people who've lost people to COVID. The one had absolutely nothing to do with the other. I will try wild lettuce and valerian tea. Valerian tea, hi, Christine, my tiny retirement. Valerian tea is nature's Valium, and I can't have it because I can't have Valium. I go through the roof. It has... Oh, my God. What? She said, I've missed 2 live streams. She needs to do this twice. Oh, my goodness. All right? Oh, my goodness. Is Santa Claus coming soon? What's Santa Claus going to bring? Is he going to bring you a bone? Maybe. Oh, you just winked at me, didn't you? Not on my skin, okay? There. Yes, you've been very good taking care of Mommy, haven't you? You haven't left my side. You haven't left my bed. You don't like staying outside too long. Want a kiss? No, a real kiss. Give me a kiss. Thank you. Oh, I love you, Gracie. All right, there we go. That's it. No more. You'll get spoiled. I remember seeing something like that. You broke out in a rash? Yeah, you got to be careful because even though it is a natural remedy or natural medicine, if you are allergic to its pharmaceutical counterpoint, then you're pretty sure going to be allergic to the original one, probably more so. If I take Valium, within 30 minutes, I'm climbing the walls and having emotional freakouts. And that was before they put me on meds, like mood meds, right? Gracie needs her own channel. Well, if she would pose for the camera, I would. For instance, Howie was in the shower, I think it was last night or the night before. And she got up on me on my chair. You know how she kind of drapes herself across my lap? She draped herself across my lap and I was petting her and we were just having some quiet time while Daddy was in the shower waiting for our show. And I started to sing She's Your Mummy's Darling. Now, please don't get offended that was a lullaby my mother sang to me. Okay? But it's, you know, right now that's all I got to sing to. My kids are grown and I have no grandchildren. Okay? But anyway, I started to sing it to her just like while she was laying on my lap. And the next thing I know, she's creeping. And she's creeping up and she's got her paws on my shoulder and she's got her face right here and she's giving me kisses. Mwah, mwah. She doesn't kiss me the way she kisses Howard. Howard lets her give she'll give him a little lick, but I don't do licks, right? I taught her how to kiss like that, although she can't pucker. What? Oh my God. Do you have any idea how old this nasty old ball is? You're supposed to be able to put peanut butter in the feet. There you go. Goodness. Thank you, Julie Otteson. Well, think about it. Think about it, Christine. All pharmaceuticals or almost all pharmaceuticals like opiates and all that. Why do you think they call opiates opiates? Because they started out as opium, right? So it would make sense, okay? I would probably die if I ever tried heroin. Why? Because I'm allergic to most opiates, right? Thank God I never tried heroin. It would have killed me the first time. But it makes sense. Most medications started out as an herbal or home remedy, like bread and milk poultices. Okay, a bread and milk poultice is a drawing thing. It's a hot thing, and it's yeast and milk, and it pulls poison out. Okay, I'm not telling you to do that if you've got an infection, an infected sore. Okay, I'm just saying that's, all these things, pharmaceuticals started out at much, much simpler. Hey, Teflon One. She wants to play. She wants to play, and she's just showing me how happy it is that Mummy is actually functioning at the moment. I just did my dishes last night, first time in 2 days. I've been in so much pain and so much emotional I've been doing an inventory, not a physical inventory, a mental and emotional and spiritual inventory. Does that make sense? I have had to take the last couple of days and go through stuff. When I go through stuff, how long did it take me to get to this point where I could grab my mother-in-law and hug her, and regardless of what has happened in the past, know that I'm grateful that she's there, and I'm grateful she's alive, and I love her, regardless of all the crap we went through. Why? Because that crap is done. Okay? Forgiveness. This is something Brier's a really good guy for me to. Him and I vent to each other really, really well. And forgiveness doesn't mean everything you went through was okay. It doesn't mean it doesn't make how somebody hurt you or did you wrong. It doesn't make that okay. Forgiving them doesn't mean what they did is okay. It just means you're no longer going to allow it to dictate your life, your mental, emotional, and spiritual life from this point forward. So when I got my hands on Nan, it was all I could do not to put her in my pocket and bring her the fuck home. You know what I mean? So, I've had to doing an inventory. It took me 2 years to do that inventory. Why? Well, because my mother-in-law's been a part of my life for 30 years. And you don't go 30 years without an argument and then have one and not have the repercussion and the buildup to that last and resonate for years afterwards, even while you're working through it. You guys watched me work through that. It's not just for letting go of the negativity. It's letting go of the power of the past. It's letting go of the power that the past has over you. Do you understand? If you're dragging all the bullshit from the past forward into your future, how stable, how emotionally centered are you going to be? Right? Where? Dallas! Okay. Hey, Chaos, Super Hazer, Terry White, Sarah Young. I'm just going to start shouting out names now. If I repeat your name, it's just because it's coming up. Helen Nelms, Doris, how are you, darling? Sarah Young, Donna Lowe. I have to head back to work. Love my work from home, so I'll miss the end. I offer up thoughts and prayers for all in the path of the hurricane. Yes, that is something we are going to add strongly to our prayers, because that's a terribly frightening thing to be facing. Hey, Barbara. Lou. So, these last couple of days, I've had some things come into I mean, can you put your hand up if you were at the live stream on Monday night on Facebook that I did and then deleted? Please tell me if you were there. Hi, Emily and Rhonda and Glory. Need to change my thyroid meds. Oh, God. I hear you, honey. I don't have thyroid issues, thank God. So, okay. Hi, Jennifer B. So, I was going through again. Okay, I'm going to talk about the brick wall. Okay, every once in a while. Now, we talk about this with suicide victims. Every once in a while, or people contemplating suicide, every once in a while, we come up to what we feel is some people, not everyone, okay, but people with emotional issues like myself come up against what they feel is a brick wall in their life that they just cannot find a way around, over, under, or through. And occasionally I will whack my head off that brick wall trying to get my way through until I figure out a way around. Or have help getting around it. Some people don't always know that there is help out there to help them around that brick wall. All right. I have been given tools. And when I knew, oh, hey, Mr. Bucky's building a new computer. Build me one too, okay? This one's a piece of crap. Now, this is a huge chemical fire in Lake Charles from the hurricane. Oh, no. Hey, Betty. Candy, hey. So, what? Let me just make sure that I am not, okay, I'm not on live Wi-Fi. Hometown cooking with Marianne. Hi, Bev. Finally getting certified for medical marijuana. Had to get together $250 just for the doctor. Insurance not covering it. No, it won't. It won't. Pretty sure if I saved all the receipts I got for seeds and marijuana that I've had to buy, that I could claim it, but I just haven't bothered, right? I don't know if Fury is here. I told her we were going to be here, I think. And so I'm hoping she comes, but I'm going to stay on a little longer than normal today because you guys deserve to hear what was maybe you don't want to hear. Bev, got your email regarding P. Furia, and did you let her know I got her message? I forwarded your email to her. Okay? I forwarded your email. I actually corrected the spelling, Super Hazer. I've corrected the spelling and sent it to her. So yeah, it's going to her. I thought she wasn't having radiation till tomorrow. Oh yeah, it's Thursday. Right. Hers reached you. Okay. Anyway, I was up against a brick wall on Monday. Every once in a while, my shield goes down and I let shit in and without knowing it. Okay. And I got to be really careful about how I say this. Every once in a while, when I think I've worked through something and I've got myself in the position to be able to deal with it without getting emotionally hammered by something, familial relationships, family relationships, and I get caught up in it and I'm already blowing before it's too late. And there are people. Now, let me talk to you about family, okay? I'm praying for everybody. What's going on in Wisconsin, Yarn Prepper? It would be nice if they covered it. Family okay? Especially blood family has a way of getting under my skin like nobody else can. Now, before I go any further, I want to talk about unconditional love. I thought I loved my family unconditionally. When I say my family, I mean all of my blood family. I thought I loved my family unconditionally, and I was wrong. I loved my family expecting love in return. And not everybody knows how to do it properly. Or not everybody knows how to love me the way I need to be loved or want to be loved. But the thing is, if you love somebody unconditionally, then you let them go. I've been loving people in my family unconditionally, expecting something in return. Yeah, it's only love or respect or dignity or affection, but I was still expecting something. And if you never hear me say anything else, hear this. Expectations are resentments waiting to happen. Do you get that? Oh, riots are going on in Wisconsin. So we're going to talk about this. It is brought up. We're going to talk about this. So when I've done all this emotional work, and folks, I'm never going to reach the goalpost. Growth, spiritual, mental, and emotional growth. And when you die, you never reach the goalpost. Life is one big learning curve, right? Hey, Nina, how's it going? Hey, McCanns, Glory, Tanya Logan. Okay, so you never reach the goalpost. I don't want to be distracted for a moment, so I'm not going to look at the chat, okay? So the big aha for me over the last 2 days is that I have had expectations on my family because I love them. I love them unconditionally, or thought I loved them unconditionally, but apparently I had conditions on that love. Now, love does not mean you have to let people crap on you. It does not mean you have to let people manipulate your emotions. Okay? I put up a meme, and I don't want to get into the discussion about it, but it said, if you've had your ass beat by one of these, a belt, a remote, a wooden spoon, and a slipper, you're probably not out rioting. And I started getting now family members who don't necessarily call me and go, what the hell are you posting that crap for? Right? They don't do that. They start to message me. Okay? And then they start going into where I've posted it and going, beep, 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 beating. And people have a tendency to focus on specific words and not the entire statement. So I took it down because it was getting just where I wasn't going to be. This is my problem. I get drawn in to bullshit. Okay? So I took it down and I thought about it for about 12 hours. And then I went back and I reposted it with my perspective as a 56-year-old woman who had physical discipline growing up. Now, this is not a right or wrong thing. This was just my perspective. And the fact that that meme did not offend me, it actually made me smile. It brought back memories of me trying to squeeze out a couple of tears when my father hit my hand with a slipper. Okay? So I posted this perspective, and it is everybody. Everybody's different. There is no two alike, not even identical twins. So thinking I had solved the issue, then the next generation of this part of the family got involved. And I started getting offended because I had a 28-year-old person who is not a parent telling me what's right and wrong with physical discipline and parenting. And at this point, I'm explaining, I had explained, that I had been smacked by a belt at least twice, had the slipper several times, and it was all justified, okay? It's got nothing to do with you and your idea of this discipline. It's got to do with a meme that made me smile, because actually my childhood memories of punishment aren't that heinous. They're not that, I mean, when I was little, I probably, oh, my dad gave me the belt all the time. He yelled at he was going to kill us with an axe and all that shit. No, I'm an adult now. I look back and I go, yeah, I deserved everything I got. And my father never once hit me in anger. And that's another thing. So, but they were still saying, well, I can't say inflicting pain on a child. And I said, let me know when you have a child screaming on the floor and kicking and screaming on the floor of a grocery store or a mall or a doctor's office. Tell me when you get there. I said, but then again, you may not choose to get there, right? So then the mother comes in, and the whole thing is I started feeling attacked. I started feeling like my father was being attacked. And I'm going to say something here. My father was the most respected man in my entire family. The most of everybody. My father was the most respected. And my dad wasn't even, see, this is another thing. I don't have any family on my father's side. All my family is on my mother's side. Okay? But my father is still the one that everybody came to. My father is still the one that they flocked, from everywhere. The moment they heard my dad was died, they started showing up at his house from hours away, hours and hours away, right? Why? Because my father was loved and respected. And when you start saying in your infantile, or not infantile, in your arrogance of youth, okay, you who have no children, that my father was wrong, those are fucking fighting words. Those are fighting words. Right? I'm sorry for dropping the F-bomb. My mom, our household was basically wait till your father gets home. I've had 2 spankings from my mother in my entire life. Once because I went into my brother's room and found his old Zippo lighter and it was supposed to be dead, and I set a paper bag on fire, and it lit up like a Christmas tree, so I threw it on the bottom bunk and threw a pillow over it. I almost set the house on fire. There's a big burn mark in the middle of the quilt and the pillow. My mother spanked me right over her knee. And then later, my brother came in, whose bed I burnt. No, it was my other brother's. But he came in and he lied down on the bed because my mom spanked me, put me to bed, and sat at the desk in my bedroom sewing all day. And later on, when my brother came home, he laid down on the bed beside me, and he said, "Do you know why you're here?" Now this is like a 15-year-old kid, right? Or a 13-year-old kid. And I guess he had heard my parents talking. It scared the hell out of my mother. And I said, because I played with Mike's lighter, and he said, "No, honey, because you set the bed on fire." And he held up, and I didn't even realize it had happened. He held up my cotton quilted, I'll never forget it, had blue rosebuds on it, cotton quilted house coat. And it had burn marks, like sparks had been hitting my house coat. He said, I said, because I almost set the house on fire. And he said, "No, honey, because you almost could have died." That's why mom and dad are so upset. You can't do stuff like that. That's why there's grown-ups, right? Wait till your father gets home. Well, that was my parents, right? And the second time was with the wooden spoon when my mother, now you folks have all heard me talk about my mother having 5 children and a blue-collar worker husband, doing laundry with a wringer washer, 2 stone wash tubs, and 2 clotheslines for a family of 7. Okay? And one day she did all the sheets day, eh? Day she did all the sheets. I happened to find a wash tub and I filled it with water, and I guess my mom was in the bathroom, and I invited all my friends over to have a pool party in the wash tub. And we got mud on the sheets. I got a wooden spoon for that. A, I didn't ask, or I did, and she said no, and I snuck them in anyway. And B, that's 2 days worth of work she had to do all over. That was an entire day's worth of work she had to do all over again. Right? Wooden spoon. So, you think I don't remember why I got spankings? Yes, I remember. Because I got a spanking. Right? Oh, yeah, wait for daddy to get home. But my point is there is no middle ground. And there are some people who are just not going to let things go. They will focus on a couple of words like beat and riot, and they will run with those. Giving me crap for saying, oh, well, I'm pretty sure half of the people in those riots have been beaten in their lives and blah, 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 blah. And I said, hear me now. There is a huge difference between being beaten and being disciplined or spanked. Okay? There is a huge difference between riot and protest. And I put those in that thing. Protest is where people gather to make their feelings known against or for something, usually against something. That's a protest. It's a peaceful thing. A riot is nothing other than a group of people intent on doing physical and doing damage. Violent protest. It's not even protesting. It's just a crowd being violent in a public place. That's a riot. Big bloody difference. So what makes, folks, you've seen me protest. You've seen me protest Monsanto. You've seen me on Parliament Hill getting marijuana legalized. Do I know the difference between a riot and a protest? Absolutely. But there are some people that just have to be right. And unfortunately, a lot of these people are blood relatives to me. And so I've had to actually remove people from my Facebook, family members from my Facebook, because guess what? Just because they're blood doesn't mean that allowing them into your life this way is healthy. It's not. Malka, you have felt loved. We love you. How are you, darling? That's why all 3 of us were messed up mentally. Brother OD, sister on streets of misery. I'm a survivor of cocaine addiction. Okay, well, the thing is you can't argue parenting. Okay? and I'm going to say this, I said this on Facebook, but I was really too upset to actually go any further. I have never been beaten in my life. Never been beaten in my life. As a matter of fact, if my crime was really heinous, and it happened once, I got, my father had to cool down before he meted out justice. My father never once hit me in anger. Never. Have I ever been beaten? Hell no. Have I been spanked? Hell yes. Big difference. So I'm it's not up to me whether to say spanking is right or wrong. Was it right for me? Yes. If you think it wasn't right or was not right for my children, ask them. Okay? This is a conversation Briar and I had yesterday. He said if people really want to know, like I get people going, my children are upstanding citizens. My children respect their elders. My children, my children. You know, these people forget or seem to really forget just how many things those children have done and been through. And just because you never spanked them didn't mean that happened or didn't happen because you did or didn't spank them. It happened because children learn by example. Right? So, there's a huge difference between spankings and being beaten. There is a huge difference between the word riot and protest. Please, folks, learn those two things. And I'm not necessarily talking to you guys, okay? One of my sons says I beat the hell out of them. My other son will tell you they didn't get their butts warmed enough. Well, Arthur will tell you that he doesn't believe in corporal punishment, and that's fine. If you have a better way when you have children, I'll gladly support that. Because guess what? They're not my kids. But Briar and I were talking yesterday, and he said, Mom, why has nobody... Like, I talked to him about this conversation I had online, and he said, Mom, why are you allowing them to get under your skin again? I thought you had this. I said, what do you mean? He said, Mom, if they really want to know what kind of parent you are, tell them to ask me. If they had asked me when I was 9 or 8 or 10, I may have said you were a mean old bitch. He said, but now, as an adult, I've never had a spanking that I didn't earn. And I remember them all 2 of them, right? I think he's only really had 1, right? So he said, and why? He said, would I be different today if you hadn't spanked me over that? Hell yes. He said, all you need to know, Mom, is not what everybody else in the family thinks. What you need to know is what Arthur and I think. And Arthur and I know you're not always all there, but you've never done anything but love and support your sons. Never. Your love has never been in doubt. And I went, and I never even realized it until he said it, that I went, he said, anybody wants to talk about what kind of parents I have, talk to me. So that's my son, right? Most are unprepared to parent wisely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it all depends on what you consider also spanking. You know what I mean? Briar, the last time I hit Briar, he was 17. And he has given me license because everybody knows Briar is high functioning autistic and he's unmedicated. He's living life on life's terms, and I'm so proud of him. And he took me to do his driver's license, to do his, I took him to do his learner's permit. Because if he didn't get his learner's permit, and then, you can get your learner's permit, and then this was before. Now in Quebec, you have to take a $1,500 driver's ed course. And then there's graduated licensing after that. Okay? He needed his learner's permit before that came into effect so that he could actually just renew his learner's permit every year until he got his license without having to do the $1,500 course. Right? So I took him to what my American friends would call the DMV. And we waited for him to do his learner's permit. Now, I had gotten him the book, I have told him to read it, I had quizzed him on it, but he was 17 and he knew it all. So he didn't take it as seriously as I was trying to lay it out for him, right? By the way, he still hasn't got his driver's license and we're working on it. But when he came out of the test, you got to remember, there's like 30 people sitting in the waiting area, most of them parents. And when he came out of the test, he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to have to do this again," right? And stuff, because he had given me nothing but grief all the way there, and grief about, the test and all this stuff. I don't know what it was, but we were not in a good mood when he went in for the test. I was already at the point where I couldn't teach him to drive because he wouldn't listen to me. And if you don't listen to the instructor, you're going to get in an accident, right? So I told him, he said, "Oh, I'm going to have to come back. You're going to have to," no, he said, "You're going to have to bring me back and do it again." I said, "No, I'm not." And he went, "What the hell, Mom? You know I got to do it." And I said, "Briar, we'll talk about this after, but you can talk to your dad or your friends, but I'm not doing this again." And he lost his shit right in the waiting room. And I had parents looking at me like, "Are you going to put up with this?" And this is a 17-year-old young man. And I just looked at him, and I got up and I left the building. Okay. And we get out in the parking lot and he's yelling at me like he's, "Ah, nah, 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 nah." And I get him into the van. We had a minivan then. And I tried to explain to him that I can't do this. I don't have the tools I need to teach you to drive and have the patience with you for this, because you won't listen to me because I'm just your mother. Okay? And he's like, "Well, you got to bring me back. I got to do it. They're bringing this thing in, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "No. Now sit down, like, be quiet," right? So he's in the passenger seat of the minivan and I'm pulling out onto St. Joseph. And this was before they had the roundabout. Okay? So there's lights and there's traffic in two directions. And I'm trying to pull out into an intersection at lunchtime in Hull. And he throws a physical hissy fit in the passenger seat next to me, kicking my dash, punching the roof, right? Now remember, this is, he's now an adult and does things much, much differently. Okay. And it got to the point where I'm going, "Stop," because I'm trying to drive, right? Like I'm already halfway into the intersection and he's throwing a hissy fit. So I went like this to like, "Hey, stop." But I wasn't taking my eyes off the road. And I clipped his lips with my fingers and I gave him a bloody lip. Now, I explained this to Briar yesterday. He goes, "Oh, Mom, I still laugh about that." Right? And I said, "You will never know, Briar. You will never know what that did to me. To see your blood on your lips from my hand." I said, "I will go to the gates of heaven with that on my heart." And he goes, "Oh, Mom, come on." I said, "Until you have a child and you lash out." Now, folks, I did not hit him hard. It was the edge of my fingers that caught his lip and hit his tooth, right? But I said, until you have a child that you have lashed out at and caused them to bleed. He said, "Mom, it was where my tooth hit my." I said, "That's not the point, Briar. The vision is me lashing out and seeing you with blood on your face. That haunts me now." Right? And he goes, Mom, for God's sakes, let it go." He said, "If it had been Dad, he probably would have kicked me out and made me walk home." You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is, nobody's a perfect parent. Only God's a perfect parent. There is no such thing as perfect parents. And when people start picking me apart for my parenting, and they start, without realizing it, attacking my father's parenting, then I realize that they are doing it to get me upset. Right? I could have said a lot of things about their parenting skills. But, and this is what Briar said. Briar said, Mom, they're just attacking. He said, you know what they were saying to you? Because I had the whole conversation over with Briar. He said, Mom, they're telling you you're a crappy parent. They're telling you that Granddad was a crappy parent. That's what you're feeling. Now, this is my unmedicated, high-functioning autistic son. He said, but you're not. Why are you allowing somebody else's need to tear you down? Tear you down. It's their need. It's only there, and it only works if you allow it. My 28-year-old son, 27-year-old son. Your dad made my brother's brace come through his lips and smacked my mom's head against the wall. Let that sink in. That's not discipline. Another one, and you don't discipline another adult, for starters, because they're adults. That's not discipline. That's abuse. There's a huge difference. Exactly. Right? And the thing is I realize now that when people need to be right, they just won't leave you alone until you are back down, or that you say, okay, you're right. These people have a real hard time. They can only focus on what they think they did right with their children. They don't want to see what they didn't do right. You understand? It's their way of avoiding looking at their own parenting, is to argue with me about mine or my opinions. And guess what? My opinions are my own. Nobody's the same, right? Don't you love having an adult conversation with your child? It always warms my heart with my daughter. I know. Hi, so-and-so. So, I mean, I put my foot through a wall that my father had just finished drywalling. I was 17. Did he spank me? Did he kick me out of the house? I had no idea what he was going to do. He just sat me down and said, how does it feel to destroy something you helped erect? You helped build. Because I did. I helped drywall that house. At 12 and 13 years old. 13, 14 years old, I was helping drywalling. Okay, I held the drywall in place, but that's not the point. I was a part of that. And when he said, how does it feel to wreck something that you helped build in your anger? Wreck it in your anger. Well, didn't I start to bawl? That was my dad, right? Hey, so-and-so, I'm so glad. That's a hole at work. And my mom, that's... Anyway, so what I have realized is it's taken me 2 days where it, like I said, with my mother-in-law, it took me over 2 years, right? What I realized is I know the pattern now. I know the pattern, okay? And these people are not perfect. And I now know, they're deflecting their own imperfections by focusing on, say, what mine may or may not be according to them. So I have had to separate myself once again from family members on Facebook, because do they pick up a phone and say, hey, what's going on with you? Are you okay? No, they chose to pick me apart with words like sweetheart and darling and honey right? Well, they picked me apart. Not going to let that happen anymore. I now have 2 new phrases in my arsenal because nothing ever happens in my life that I don't learn from and get a lesson from. And then we're going to go on, we're going to get off of me in a minute, okay? I've learned 2 new phrases, and one came from my father. I don't have these problems. So it's basically saying, not my problem. It's a nicer way of saying, not my problem, right? So whenever someone brings something to me, I'm not going to help them, try and help them fix it anymore. Certain people. Why? Because they're just gathering ammo about me and how I would do things so they can pick me apart later. So guess what? Bring me a problem. If you're not, if you're a certain type of person in my life, then it's not my problem. I don't have these problems. And if they want to mine information from me, or how are things going? How's so-and-so doing? How's this doing? How's so-and-so doing? Wouldn't you like to know? Not my problem. Wouldn't you like to know? I will love, honor, invite, allow these people into my home for tea and love and everything else. But when it comes to me, you no longer have access. When it comes to me, I can love you, and I do love you, but I'm going to love you from over there. Loving someone does not mean you have to allow them to pick you apart or crap on you. You got to love yourself first. And I wasn't loving enough to myself to recognize what was going on while it was happening. Did they come into the live stream and talk there where all my friends were? No, they continued to pick apart stuff on the post rather than come in and face it. So just do the Southern way and tell them bless. No, I don't, because when I say bless your heart, I mean it. Okay? I have to say, I don't have these problems. In other words, don't ask me for advice because I ain't giving it. Period. And when it comes to asking how I'm doing personally, I can say fine, yay or nay. But when they start asking me about other things and relationships in my life, wouldn't you like to know? That's it. I don't have to tell anybody anything. I can be loving and honest without giving my life over to the hands of somebody else who wants to pick it apart. My newest is not my story to tell. Woohoo! That's another good one. I'm going to write these down. Oh, let me write that down. I'm going to do this. Not my problem. Thank you, Dad. Not my story to tell. Wouldn't you like to know? Alrighty. That's right. Don't give away your power. So, just because people are blood, and they seem, and the saddest part about a lot of people is they know enough to feel and seem like they got their lives in order and that they've done everything right. But have they, if they feel the insecurity enough to pick somebody else's feelings or thoughts apart abusively, right? Disrespectfully. Now, this is another part. I am the second youngest out of my generation. There's probably 40 of us. And my cousin Sean's the youngest, and I'm the next one. Then my cousin Kathy, then my cousin Mary Jane, then my brother Bob. And the rest are all much, much older than us. Okay? So I am now, my Aunt Audrey's the last elder in mine, and my cousin Diane. But she is a family elder, but she's still my first cousin, right? She's a family elder. We are the family elders. But it doesn't help when you have family that's the next generation down and the next generation down, but they're closer to you in age because they feel that they can. My father used to have a saying, familiarity breeds contempt. My contempt has been bred. Period. I would tell you, but I don't have all the facts. Ooh, that's another good one. Not my monkey, not my circus. Well, that's that's not necessarily a loving way of putting it, because you're calling somebody else's life a circus, right? That's a judgment. That's a judgment, and we're not supposed to judge, right? So, I dealt with the COVID insensitivity because I'm not insensitive to it. I'm ready for the second wave. My Mucinex arrived, and I've got 40 tablets of Mucinex, which is a really hard on your kidneys drug to kick mucus out of your system. I've got my mucus and phlegm and chest congestion and cold medicine, because not because I'm ready for the second wave either. I'm ready for the flu, because this is my year to get the flu. I get it like every 2 or 3 years. So I didn't have the flu last year. So I think it's going to happen either this year or next. So I don't want to be, and I'm still waiting for my phone call from my doctor, okay? You think the South does not mean it? Oh, sometimes we sure don't. Hey, Jimmy. So are you going to rest, Dallas? Okay, I love you, sweetheart. I love you, okay? Cousins don't count. First cousins didn't help, but hurt us instead. Well, I was raised in a family that, why do you need friends when you got such a huge family to draw on? Unfortunately, and that's another thing, I don't have any family on my dad's side, right? I don't have any extended family on my dad's side. So maybe that's why it's so important, or has been so important to me, for acceptance. Guess what? I don't need their approval anymore. I'm a grown-ass woman. My kids have their issues like everybody else, but my kids love and respect their parents. And I said to Briar, hey, we must have done something right. You guys still want to hang out with us. You guys still want to come and visit and hang out and play board games and watch TV and stuff. And he goes, then is anything else worth your pain, Mom? Should not be enough. And it is. Thank you, Briar. I'm on my own, but that's okay. I have my cat family to look after. Exactly. And by the way, thanks to everybody when I posted it's International Dog Day to post your pictures of your pups. Thank you for all the wonderful pictures. Nothing lightens my heart more than fur babies. We were raised that way too, but since we all got older, they don't bother with one another. That's okay. That's okay. My kids have their cousins, the cousins they relate to and the cousins they don't. And, you know, they know more, they know better than me how to detach from people that just don't compute with the way they think and feel. And it's not that it's okay to feel and think differently, but it's not okay to shove your opinions as fact on somebody else. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. You're just not entitled to force it on me, right? I am enjoying this, but I have to go back to work. Have a great day. Okay, Lou, you take care, sweetheart. A UK scientist came out and said that masks and lockdowns were a huge worldwide mistake. Of course they are. I see people walking down the street with masks. Oh, what can I show you? Oh, my seat's gone. Oh, okay, folks, I will be right back. I will be right back. I have to go to the bathroom, and I have to show you my masks. They came. always wash your hands under hot running water with soap. Now, Howie said he wouldn't wear these. But somebody is sending me, I gotta fix my chair here, folks. I'm really sorry. There we go. Let's see if I can make this work without dropping down. No, you're not getting another snuggle. So, masks, whether or not masks and lockdowns are a mistake or not, now I can turn this up a little bit because I'm not sitting so low. Just, it doesn't change the fact that they're law. All right? Whether it's a mistake or not doesn't mean anything. What about you were all excited about your food saver? Okay, here's one. Can you see me smiling? That's for evening wear. For daytime wear, I have I don't like how they pull on my ears though. Did you get the flu shot? Who, me? Never. Never. Oh, Gracie, hush. You got a food saver for $3.99? What was that on, like Bidwiz or something? And oops. And that's for when I go shopping at any kind of dispensary. I'm the one smiling behind the mask all the time. Thank you. These are the ones I got from, like, I designed them, and they are like a polyester material with a cotton like t-shirt back. They don't prevent anything, but they're really bloody comfortable. Whoops. I wonder if I could do something different. No, I can't go all the way back. So there is the masks I wear when I have to go into the store. They're really, really tight though. Not really tight. It's just, they're good. I got 5 of mine yesterday and have more waiting on. Somebody's sending one for me, one for Howie, one for Briar. I think it's Martina. And that's a really good score. I want to let you know that I have actually written to, oh, that's another thing I want to talk about. Safe and unsafe canning. All right. We were talking about this in Connected Hearts. When I can tomatoes, I put boiling tomatoes into a hot jar and I put a warm lid on it and I let them seal on their own. I do the same with jelly and I do the same with pickles. Now, there are people out there that say that's totally, excuse me, folks, I'll be right back. It's the doctor. It doesn't last on fabric for long. It has a period where it just, you know, if it's sit and not touched for X number of times. It's now a law. You can't hang them from your rearview mirror too. Okay, no politics, please. I understand why your election's so important. All elections are important. Okay? But we really don't want to, we don't really want to bring it into discussion because then it becomes a Donnybrook, and I don't want a Donnybrook, all right? When my husband found a new hobby, I no longer hear about the P word. Works for me. So what my doctor said, and I asked him about my CAT scan, I have to drink this stuff. There's no way around it. I just have to start earlier in the day, which means tonight is pizza night because I can't eat anything else this weekend. I can eat other food, but it'll be like pasta, rice, butter, you know, really light stuff. Okay, not talking elections or COVID-19, not a hoax. Goodbye. I don't understand what the hell that means, but so where the heck did my other piece of paper go? Okay, so whether or not, like, I just talked to my doctor, and he did not deny or confirm that he knew the COVID was in the country when they didn't want to send me to a gynecologist, remember? So he said that my CAT scan came back normal. And I said, okay, I had an MRI like 3 weeks before or 4 weeks before that. Okay. Less. I mean, I had an MRI and a CAT scan within weeks of each other. And the MRI showed a fibroid on my uterus. It showed endometriosis, and it showed a hernia. I said, how can a CAT scan a couple of weeks later show absolutely nothing? I said, and he goes, well, that's just the way it is sometimes. And I said, well, let me put it to you this way. My cousin had a 12-pound fibroid in her uterus. And it showed not up on the MRI, not up on the CAT scan, but through laparoscopy, because they all came back normal. So how reliable are they, right? I said, they found it laparoscopically, and he said, that's what we're going to have to do. And I said, okay. So you want to make sure. I said, I don't want to come into your office unless I absolutely have to. So are we good? We talked about my prescriptions, all that stuff. We basically had an appointment over the phone. So sorry about leaving that. It's not that it's not allowed, okay? It's not that it's not allowed. It's politics, religion, and money we don't talk about at the dinner table. This is our dinner table. You know what I mean? You can talk about your fears about your politics, but you can't. You can talk about politics, maybe your fears or your concerns, but you can't promote politics here. You can't promote parties. You can't promote presidents. You can't promote prime ministers. You can't promote politics. We don't want to argue about what's right or what's wrong. You do you. That's why the ballots are private. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, I'm going for my colonoscopy on Monday. And I really hope, if I can, I'm going to ask them, let me bring in a camera and a tripod. I'll take it just in case. Oh, yeah, I broke the battery on my camera. I had to tape it back together. That's twice I've done that, so I may have to get a new camera. I don't know what's going on. All I know is I don't want to go anywhere near the doctor's office if I'm feeling okay. Because I told him, I said, I still have pain from the fibroid. It's still there, doc. Just because the CAT scan showed it doesn't mean it's not there, right? So it just makes people angry. Woohoo, got my appointment for my fluid removal. I've got 5 kilograms on that needs to come off. Fluid removal from what? 5, that's 10 pounds, baby. Fluid from what? They take a film, ask for a copy. Well, here in Canada, the films they take are not your property. They're not your property, right? And I don't want to show you my colonoscopy. I want to show you me during the colonoscopy going, oh, wow, look at that. Because I stay awake for them. But he did say I could request a little bit more medication because I am drug resistant. Drug resistant and drug sensitive. What a shitty combination. I have to have a COVID test last week before I was having a test needed. Well, yeah. 10 pounds is not much for his problem. Dialysis, right. Oh, I talked to Mary Jane. She says, hi, I love you guys. She'll be back in the fall. She'll be going home soon, back in the fall, where she has Bell 5, and she will be here for all of our lives again. But she really looks forward to going up to her cottage in the summer, even if she can't stay in it all the time. But her best friend, her foster sister, lives next door. And whenever things get too cold or they get concerned, they say, okay, you're coming in the house where it's air conditioned, where I'm monitoring your food and all that stuff, right? So she has a support system there, where when she's in Oshawa, she doesn't necessarily have as a ready support system. Yes, she has, her sister and her nephew and that, and they're pretty good, but every okay, I just want her to come home so I can talk to her every day. I can't talk to her every day. I talk to her like once a week right now. And it's driving me nuts. She's my person. Nobody's trusting Western medicine anymore. Then the text said they aren't supposed to be doing the test per CDC. My brother's having back surgery again on the 5th. Oh my God, Susan. Is that a good thing? Rose Jarman sends her love. Okay. Bev, do you need COVID test before colonoscopy? I did. No. No. If they do a test, it'll probably be in the hospital. But I have not. There is no instructions on here. Oh, I can't eat on Sunday. Doctor. Yeah, no hospital. Okay. Service phone number. All right. No, I can't eat on Sunday. Crap. So, and the only good things I can eat are today. So Friday and Saturday, I can only eat like pasta and white bread and all the stuff I'm not supposed to eat. And then Sunday, nothing at all. He has rods and screws in his back from years ago. Now they are going in above that to burn 4 nerves. Oh my God. Oh, that's awful. Yay for your colonoscopy on Monday. 2 years post-surgery chemo. Don't wait, people. I had a colonoscopy. I can't remember when it was. It was a couple of years ago, though, right? Because I did a live stream or posted a video on Facebook when I was leaving, and I was still high as a kite. So, Bev got 60 pounds of onions for $6 yesterday. All right, Joe Mama. Okay. Safe and unsafe methods of canning. Now, somebody sent me a video of somebody using one of the new Nesco electric pressure cooker canners. You can actually can in this one. Remember we're talking about Instapots and stuff? No. But this one you can. And they have none. They're sold out everywhere. They're sold out on Wayfair. They're sold out on the Nesco site. They're sold out anywhere you can think of, right? But somebody did a video of dry canning potatoes. Now, I've only seen this done twice, and I thought about doing it, but I'm going to do more research first because it's a convection versus immersion. I'm not sure. It's a different way of canning, but people say it's wrong. Now, unsafe canning methods, if you consider it unsafe, then don't do it. You be you, all right? But if you're the Italian grandmother who is like 80 some years old, who's still canning tomatoes the same way she canned them, her family canned them back in Italy, which is to hot boiling jars, hot boiling tomatoes with a lid and under a blanket. I've been doing, and I haven't even been doing the blanket. I've been doing it this way for years, right? I have boil bath canned it for you. But when it comes to jelly, jams, pickles, canned tomatoes, just canned tomatoes, not tomato sauce. I do me. There are rules in place that we call idiot proofness. The rules are in place for beginners who don't just assume that they can can anything any way they want. I'm still getting people asking me if you can boil bath canned meat. No. But you do you, and if in doubt, follow the regulations that are put out by Food Preservation Canada and US, okay? You do you. There's no sense arguing about it. If you don't think it's safe, don't do it, okay? Yeah, I've never had mold, but I'll tell you something. All of our maple syrup is going in the garbage. You know why? Because 2 years in a row, my husband did not listen to me when I said you have to boil down sap, take it off, boil down more sap, take it off until you have enough reduced sap to go all together and reduce again. You do not add liquid when you've reduced your sap. Where's my thing? Here it is. When you have reduced your sap, your maple sap, you don't add more sap, undiluted or diluted sap. You're diluting it, and it's no longer shelf stable. So if you want maple syrup done properly, boil it down. And if you only got this much in the bottom of the pot, pour it off into another pot and boil more down when it gets to that point, and add it to the pot, and then boil more down. Then put all the stuff that was diluted to all the same thickness together and boil it down to the proper consistency. Any other way is not shelf stable. That says you just got to boil it for hours. That scares me. Well, then don't do it. Do you think I'd boil bath canned meat? Not on your bloody life. Hell no. I learned how to pressure can for a reason. So I have written to the Nesco company. Now they're sold out of this Nesco canner because I'd like to get one for my kids, for Mel and Arthur, because they've made good use of the dehydrator I gave them for Christmas one year. They've made, and now they're starting to make their own pickles and stuff. So they love their Instapot, and Mel is one of the people who've said, can I can in the Instapot? Absolutely not. It is not designed for that. But Nesco now has a pressure cooker canner that is electric and programmable. I saw it because somebody sent me a video of somebody dry canning potatoes in one of these, right? So, and I like the idea of dry canning potatoes, so I may try it just to see. Still decluttering. There is a okay, so I learned how to pressure can so that I could pressure can low acid fruits and vegetables and meat. Simple, full stop. So if you are unsure, then follow the recommended practices that your country's, there's going to be a place on the internet where you can find what your country's standards are for safe canning and food preservation. And then, according to how long you've been canning or not, you can make your own decisions. But you can't blame anybody else if you do unsafe canning practices and people get sick. Well, this is the thing, Emily, is this canner holds 4 quart jars or 3 quart jars with the wide mouth because they're a wider thing. And it sits on your counter and you program it. You put the water in, you put your jars in, you put the recommended amount of water in, you close it, you hit the little vent thing and you press the thing and you just walk away. Right? That's a good thing. I want one. So I saw some videos of the new electric pressure canner. Looks interesting. It's for small batches. Well, that's what I mean. I would really like to have one. So I'd like to give one to Arthur and Mel because I think they're ready for the next step. And I think they would have a blast with this. But they're sold out on Wayfair. They're sold out. The only place I can get them is Amazon, and I don't have an Amazon card. Right? I sent the video, Bev. You're right. You can't find this Nesco canner anywhere. It has a 15-pound. Really? So the thing is I've written to them. And I said, look, I am a long-standing Nesco person. You ask anybody on my website, I have given away dehydrators. Hell, I've got 2 sitting right next to me that I'm giving away in a draw next week, September 1st. I'm giving one away to the winner, and then one will go to the winner of the Harvest Moon draw, right? So I asked them, It's almost kind of idiot proof, this electric canner too, right? It takes all the guesswork out of it for you. So I wrote to them and said, listen, I really would like one of these for my channel to review and to do a video review, and one to give away. And I'd also like a Snackmaster dehydrator to give away. I said, now, I have 100K subscribers. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it's taken me 10 years to get there because I have core people who watch every day. I said, so if you can, I would like 2 of the Nesco canners, the 2 of the electric Nesco canner cookers, and 1 dehydrator to give away for my 100,000 subscriber draw. I'm not sure if it's going to get there, folks. I'm not sure if they're just going to laugh at me, but it doesn't hurt to ask, right? So if they do give them, I will give 1 away on my 100,000 subscriber draw, and I will preview 1. Like, I'll show you how it works. I'll preview it, and then I'll give 1 away, and I'm hoping for coupon codes too, and I want to give away a dehydrator. If not, and I can get my hands on another dehydrator and another one of those Nesco things before Christmas, I'll just give them away anyway, right? Look up to see if electric canners have passed testing. Last they knew, they did not hold temps and pressure long enough. Okay, there's only one electric pressure canner, and it used to be by another company. It has been since bought out by Nesco. Everything else is an Instapot. Everything else is pretty much just an Instapot. This one is programmable for pressure canning, and it has everything it needs. Yeah, you can only do 3 quarts or 4 quarts at a time, but that doesn't matter, right? Who wants to run in a great big huge 22-liter canner for 3 jars, right? Yes, absolutely, Teflon one. What a great idea. Post a link to the USDA canning guide, and if somebody can phone or post one for the Canadian one, all there, that's all good too. There is a Carrie and a Presto that have electric canner. No, Carrie was bought, thank you for the name. Carrie was bought out by Nesco. Not Presto. Carrie was bought out by Nesco. And that's the only one I've seen. And the only reason I knew that is because somebody else, when I was looking for the Presto the Nesco cooker canner, somebody had posted a picture saying, "Oh, look, it's exactly the same thing. Here's my old Carrie canner," and Nesco's just bought it out. They run about on Wayfair, which is sold out. They're $199 Canadian. Nesco, they're $149, I think it's US, on the Nesco website. But I have looked everywhere, and the only place I can get one is Amazon, and I don't have Amazon. I don't have an Amazon card, right? I don't. So when I go shopping this week, I'm going to be buying some Amazon cards, right? So that I can buy one of these if I have to. But sellers are gouging big time. Yeah. Presto has an electric one now, too. Oh, can you find the link for that, Terry? Because I'd like to see that. But the Nesco one originally was Carrie, and they were bought out by Nesco. Therefore, I'm pretty sure that one's been put through its paces, and Nesco has thought enough of it to purchase the patent on it, right? Oh, sellers are gouging big time. I shared on Facebook Sutton Day's video on the sellers that are selling cheap knockoff jar lids and that they're failing. So if you get a chance, go over to my Facebook and check that out, okay? I'm canning lid scam. It's on my list. So, any questions now? Because I'm back. I'm here. And I want to say I really appreciate you guys. I mean, I was low enough that's these last 2 days, those 2 days that I took off, the first 2 days I've really taken off at all since I started live streaming like 8 months ago. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 8 months ago, right? So thank you, Susan. Here is the Presto one. Ooh, okay. I'm going to look at that. It's at Amazon as well. No, I didn't plant a fall garden, Deej. My garden's a jungle. You want to see my garden? Let's go look at my garden. Where's my Magoo? Sorry, folks. I just don't want you seeing my messy house. That's why you're looking at my wobbling face. What? What? No. What's with all the hackles? Let's go look and see if the mail car is here or something. Are you fibbing? Are you fibbing? There is absolutely nobody in that driveway. There is absolutely nobody in that driveway. Absolutely nobody. All right. You want to see my jungle? It's been a long time since I planted pumpkins, and I forgot. Don't you give me any lip. Don't you give me any lip. What is the matter with you? You got something to say? You got something to say? Say it now. Don't wait till my back has turned. There's my pumpkins. Now, it doesn't look as big as it really is. There's my bean beds. There's my bean beds that I'm letting go to seed. There's my second planting of beans, which we're still eating from. There's celery. But look at and I have a summer squash out there somewhere. And I know I have at least 2 Cinderella pumpkins. And I have no idea. So yeah, there's my garden. No, did I plant a fall garden? No. Why? Look at the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. What? What is my shoe doing here? What is my shoe doing there? Don't you wiggle your bum at me. Mommy's shoes are supposed to stay at the door. Chicago babies? Excuse me, folks. I'm going to let you look at my ceiling for a minute while I put Gracie out, okay? Come and get your love. Chicago babies? My goodness. You're a good girl, Gracie. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. Let me just get you back on here. And then I have to piddle again. All right, I'll be right back. Sorry, folks. I'm sorry we're running on so long. Well, my tomatoes are almost done. Oh, I think that's what we'll have for supper, BLTs or burgers. If this be treason, make the most of it, because as of tomorrow, I'm living on pasta without any sauce. Grace wiggling her butt when you talk to her. She is a squishy girl. She is a squishy girl. You got to think, folks. My entire day is the most communication I get is when I'm on the phone, talking to you, or with my dog. And trust me when I say, my dog understands me very, very well. She's a very smart dog. Anyway, so Um, ooh, you have a brisket on the smoker. Mmm. Bev, do you still need canning lids? I don't know. I have largemouth ones. I only have 2 boxes of smallmouth ones, and I'm having trouble. But I'm going shopping this weekend, so my fingers are crossed that I'm going to be able to. I'm going to be able to get some more because I got a lot of canning coming. Lot of canning coming. I've got rutabagas to do, whether they come from my garden or the market. I don't care. I love me my canned rutabagas because then I just have to dump them, bring them to a boil, strain them, and mash them with brown sugar and salt and pepper and butter. My Jackson had a boxer as a kid named Valiant. Jackson loves your Gracie. Oh, Gracie, everybody loves Gracie. Yeah, I mean, even people, but people don't think. People don't think. They all think boxers are all these wonderful, squishy babies. Well, Gracie is, but only for certain people. Like Alex, like how we just fixed Alex's box sides. And Alex is not one of my kids, but he is one of my kids. You know what I mean? And he has no problem. Like Gracie, he'll walk up the driveway and she's like, ah, and he's wearing sunglasses and a ball cap. And I have told him, show your eyes, take your hat off. Now, Alex just walks up and goes, hey, what's the matter with you, Gracie? And her hackles will be up like a razorback hog, right? And he'll get right up to her and go, hey, and he'll point at her nose and she'll smell his hand and go, oh, it's Alex. It's Alex, right? But she greets everybody that way, that she doesn't necessarily, like, I mean, the guy who dropped off my Walmart box, he's walking towards her with a box and she's got her back up and she's, and he says to me, is she friendly? I said, no, not to strangers, not when my husband's not home. And he goes, oh, I said, just put the box, I'll put her in the house. And he brought the box up. So best luck finding lids. Oh, okay. Hey, Pat McLean. No frills. I don't have a no frills. The nearest no frills, I believe, I don't know where no frills is. We have Food Basics. I have Tatler lids. So yeah, I have those for a backup if I need them. I do. Thank you for reminding me. Do you grow determinate maters? I have no idea. I have no idea whether they're determinate or indeterminate. All I know is that I chopped them off. And I got big, beautiful tomatoes. I only have one little box of tomatoes. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to peel them and cook them down and dehydrate them or add them into my next batch of canning of spaghetti sauce. What are Harvest Guard? Yeah, I have Tatler lids. I use them. I actually save them for emergencies such as this when lids become hard to find. And I meant to order two sleeves of lids from Lehman's, but I haven't got there yet. And I'm probably sure they're sold out too. I'm not sure I understand, Mama Cat. What do you mean? Harvest Guard are the same as Tatler. They're old style Tatlers. Well, there's some knockoffs too, but all mine are Tatlers. The son of the Tatler started his own company, Harvest Guard Reusable. Really? That's kind of, wow, that's actually sad that he broke away from the family business and started his own. I mean, good for him, but that doesn't speak well for unity in the family, right? So we've been on here for over an hour and a half, and nobody's told me whether anybody's has a birthday or not. What do you do with rutabagas? How do you cook or prepare them? Really? Oh, I see. I'm not a white turnip person. I'm a rutabaga person. I peel them, and I have videos on it. I peel them. I cut them in slices. Then I dice them to about that big, maybe 1/2 inch to up to 1 inch in cubes. And then I'm not sure if I have to blanch them or not, but I can them. And because if I don't can them, we only eat them on special occasions because they're such a bitch to chop up, peel, chop up, and cook. And they take forever to cook, right? So what I do is I can them. And that takes all the prep work out of it for me so I can have Rutabaga is anytime I want. And so if you're doing them from fresh, you cut them in half, cut them in slices, then peel off the outside, dice them and boil them with salt, like water and salt and water and salt, until they are tender and mashable. Then you drain them and you add butter, salt, and pepper, and a tablespoon of brown sugar, and you mash the crap out of them, and then you serve them up in this delicious mound of. And guess what? I've had leftover rutabaga that I've turned into a pie. Yes. You guys ever see that? You guys really got to go through my old videos. HG has free shipping too. Huh. Well, I'll have to look at that. Bev made her maters determinate. I don't know if they were determinate or not, but I did save some of the seeds from those big tomatoes. Oh, hell yes. And I'm going to plant the Manitoba or Alberta tomato plant seeds that somebody sent me next year. And what do rutabagas taste like? Kind of like a cross between a turnip and a squash. They're more fibrous, they're more bitter, but they're delicious if cooked and prepared right. Absolutely. Doris, honey, go to my, this is why I keep telling people keep emailing, do you have a video on this? Have you ever done this? And it's like, I have literally over 2,000 videos on this channel, right? Go to my channel, look for the search bar that says search channel and put in a word: rutabaga, turnip, pie, canning, pickles, canning meat, chicken, broth. Put a word in. It'll give you every video I've ever made on that word. Got it? Happy belated birthday, Mama. I turned 40 last Sunday. Does that count? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mama Cat. Happy birthday to you, and many more. Congratulations on turning 40. This is where the part in life where everything begins to fall out, wear out, or spread out on your body. Welcome. Bev, since no sauce on your pasta, how about macaroni? I have to have low-fat dairy products. So I will probably just have, what can I have? I'll tell you what I can have. Foods permitted 3 days before the exam, but the day before I can eat nothing. So this is what I'm allowed as of tomorrow and Saturday. White bread. This goes against everything I've been taught too. White bread, refined products, pasta or cereal, Special K, Rice Krispies. White rice. Skinless chicken or turkey. We know I have cans of the stuff. Liver, beef, veal, pork, or other tender lean meat, which I have. Fish, seafood, tofu, and eggs. So I'll be living on pasta and eggs probably, and chicken. Fruits, other than those listed in the foods to be avoided. Foods to be avoided. Whole grain products. What the hell? Whole grain products, pasta, rice, cereals, or breads. Oh, okay. They mean whole grain pasta, cereals, or breads. That's all I eat is like 13, 14 grain bread. Processed meats, sausages, fried food, kidney beans, lentils, chickpeas, dried peas. Fruits, plums, melons, grapes, cherries. Well, what the hell's left? Dried fruits, kiwis, berries, rhubarb, nectarines. There's absolutely nothing in the fruits or vegetables or the fruits that I can have. Cooked vegetables, max 3 servings, asparagus tips, carrots, red or green, yellow wax beans. Ooh, I've got those. And mushrooms, squash, zucchini, parsnip, potatoes. I can have mayonnaise, mustard, butter, margarine, low-fat dairy products, and sherbet. Yeah, so guess what? Today, my husband's picking up either subs or pizza, because after today I'm done. Usually it's a weekend thing if we do want to order subs or pizza or whatever. Hey Randy, how's it going? I've been on here for almost 2 hours. But guess what? I don't care. I've missed you guys. Bev, with the test, try and do a liquid diet at least 2 days before. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? So, it was our anniversary on August 23rd, married for 51 years. Wow, Karen, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm going to eat what I want today. What did I have for breakfast? Boiled eggs and toast. Howie's going to have to pick up some white bread. So he's going to have to stop with it. Actually, I have buns. I have white buns. We'll see. But anyway, chicken broth was my friend, and I have lots of vegetable broth. I have lots of vegetable broth. Thank you, God. Because guess what? I will probably have vegetable broth and rice, or vegetable broth and pasta, and make it mostly liquidy. How do I feel about parsnips? I had a nap, crappy night's sleep lately. Oh, baby. How do I feel about parsnips? I love parsnips. I hated them growing up. But when my mother died when I was 9, my dad had a heart attack when he was 2 years later, less than 2 years, a year and a half later. Almost 2 years later, Dad had a heart attack. And he had to learn how to cook. And he made these horrible hamburgers under the broiler with oatmeal in them that were like hockey pucks. What the hell was I just talking about? So I forget. I forget. My dad was not the greatest cook in the world. He had to learn how to cook, okay? Which means I wasn't allowed to, because he had to learn all this stuff. Do a liquid diet, yeah. I don't think I can have tomatoes. Foods to avoid. All vegetables other than those listed in the foods. No, I can't have tomatoes. Because it's got skins and seeds. And even if you buy canned, it's still got seeds in it, right? Oh, parsnips. Thank you, Deborah. Parsnips, I hated, because when my dad was learning how to cook, all through when I was a teenager, he got a pressure cooker for Christmas one year. And he would make this stew. And he would use potatoes, onions, carrots, and parsnips and meat. And everything tasted like a parsnip. And it drove me nuts. My dad loved them. And then years later, when a boyfriend took me to visit his grandmother, and his grandmother was from Britain, lived through the Blitz with 4 kids. Lived through the Blitz with 4 kids in England, in the city, in London. And she said, oh, she made a beautiful, big, traditional British Sunday lunch. And it had roast beef and Boston brown potatoes and yada, yada, Yorkshire pudding, all that stuff. But she said, and we're having whipped parsnips. And I said, I don't eat parsnips. And she said, you'll eat mine. And she said, why don't you like parsnips? And I told her, and she said, you'll like mine. Trust me. And I did. You boil them, then you whip them. You boil them till they're soft, like you peel them, and you boil them till they're soft, and then you whip them with butter and salt and pepper, and they are so friggin' delicious. Can rice be pressure canned? No. Rice cannot be pressure canned because it is a starch, and we don't can starches unless it's a modified corn starch, like Clear Gel or Sure Gel. You don't can rice. It will turn into a glutinous lump of white goo. Okay? You just don't. And don't get me on about potatoes being a starch. They're not just a starch product. They are a something else, right? But no, you can't can rice. Yeah, I know you can buy dainty rice in cans in the store, but those are professionally canned with in production canners that we don't have access to. We don't have access to the proper equipment to can things that get canned. Some of the things that get canned, like rice. Sauteed in butter, sweet like candy. Oh, oven canned what? What do you mean? Yeah, no tomatoes because of the seeds. I watched Dean Martin Christmas show from '68 last night. Oh, I can't wait to see that. I actually am going to look for it and download it. I have a Bing Crosby one too. And I bet you he sang, "It's a marshmallow world in the winter when the snow comes to cover the ground." Right? I love Dean Martin. Sexy. Uh, oh, oven canned. Why would you? You don't need to. You put the rice in the freezer, okay? For a while, like in the bag when it comes home from the store. You put it in the freezer for a couple of weeks. Then you put it into jars, and if you want, you can put an oxygen absorber in. But trust me, there's no need. Well, unless you're packing it away for years and years and years and years, which I don't do. Maybe I should, but I don't. Thomas roasted parsnips. Roasted parsnips. Mmm. Gotta put it in God's hands, yarn prepper, because you can't do anything about it. Okay, what am I missing here? I'm not even watching news. I just don't want riots to spread to hubby's work or my house. I mean, Jesus. This is one of those times in history that's going to divide time. Christ and his birth and death divided time before and after Christ. Okay? This is one of those times when we're going to find out just exactly what our countries and our people and our governments are made of. Okay? Read 1984. That thing was written in the 40s. Read A Handmaid's Tale. That was written in 1985. Read Brave New World. I read that in high school. Okay? These are things you need to know. Watch the movie Soylent Green. It may be cheesy, but watch I Am Legend with Will Smith and pay most attention to the video clips that are showing while the credits are running at the beginning. Okay? The cure for cancer, how it turned out to be, how it mutated and became a problem. Okay? Kenosha, Wisconsin. Okay, I will. I did. I vacuum sealed. You can vacuum seal rice, but it's best anything like oatmeal, grains, or flour. It's always best to freeze them first to kill any eggs that will have ridden in on the batch. Because if you don't kill them, they'll hatch later on down the line. So you can vacuum seal rice, put it in a paper bag inside your vacuum seal bag, date the bag, and vacuum seal it inside a plastic bag, but freeze it first. You can put it in half-gallon mason jars and warm up the lid and put an oxygen absorber in and seal it that way, but freeze it first. You can do the same with flour. Put them in paper lunch bags, write a date on them, and then leave the bag enough so that you can fold over 3 inches of the top and put that in a vacuum seal bag. If you have the tops for them, put a coffee, fill your jar with flour and put a coffee filter or a muffin cup with, but preferably a coffee filter because they breathe better, into the jar, cut it to fit, put it in the jar and vacuum seal it. But freeze it first. Freezing it first makes a huge difference. I've got 3 gamma lids today. Love them. Gamma. What are gamma lids? Yarn Prepper, I know people up there as well. I don't watch the news either. Be safe. I'm not watching the news. Okay. If I need to know something, I will look for it online. If I need to know, like for instance, I'm going shopping this weekend. Gotta wear one of these when I go into a store, right? Yes, he did. Marshmallow Song. Whole episode on the was oh God. Please tell me that Frank Sinatra was with him. My favorite live scene of that song is him, Dean Martin, and I just said his name, Blue Eyes. What did I just say his name? See, this is a fibro fog. I'm still dealing with fibro fog. Dean Martin and oh, the screw top lives for 5 gallon buckets. Well, that's good. You can you can freeze your rice, fill those buckets to the top, throw in, about 5 oxygen absorbers, screw that lid shut, should be good. Put a bay leaf in it too if you want. But my way, come on, guys, give me a name. Frank Sinatra, thank you. The one where I think it's in black and white, where Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin sing "It's a Marshmallow World." Maybe I'll do some Christmas songs this year, just for fun. It went off when I took the jars out of the oven. What went off? Is there a live stream on? Yeah, I'm right here. Oh, it went off for a minute. Yeah, and it's back on. It's just every once in a while it drops because I've been on for over an hour. Ah, okay. Try refreshing. But we are going to get off here shortly because I have work to do. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to tell you. Remember me saying that the kitty cat fabric squares arrived? Well, I washed them because you wash fabric before you quilt with it. And because you don't want it coming apart and fraying after you've sewed them. Now, this is what they look like now, and they need to be ironed. But you know how I did them? See, this is why I don't just put them loose in the wash. Okay? I put them, if you got fabric that you've bought and it's in squares and you want to wash it before you use it, use a lingerie bag and just throw it in the wash. I've got to sit down and iron these all, and we'll be making kitty cat quilts soon. Now, if you don't want them to be a kitty cat quilt, make them a doll quilt, or make it larger and make a baby quilt. But I'm making quilts for my grandkitties, right? You don't wash your pre-cuts. That's my problem. I've washed my pre-cuts, not washed them before, and then when I've washed the quilt top, it's come apart in like 60 different places, and I've had to repair it by hand after the quilt top's together. So I wash my pre-cuts, unless they're huge, and then I just give myself a bigger seam allowance, right? Yes, there is a show where both do a funny dance, Frank Sinatra and Dean, and it's like there's a when they're singing, it's a marshmallow world in the winter, it's a yummy time in the winter. Well, Frank Sinatra goes dun 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 dun, and he harmonizes just for that little, and it just made my day, right? So, if you find any of these clips on YouTube, send them to me because I would like to actually make myself a movie that I can watch. Put it into my DVD player and watch. Oh, well, thank you, Deborah. It's these are on sale. These are for sale on Teespring. I had them designed. There's a white one. Here be the black one. And don't take my accent as anything other than just me talking. It's not because it's black. Cripes. There's the one. This is my evening wear one. This is my daytime one. And this one is if I have to go to a dispensary. Those two could sing the phone book and make it great. God rest their souls, eh? God rest their souls. So yeah, these are on sale at my Teespring. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of masks. So maybe, I don't know, but it's been almost 2 hours. I have to get off here. I have things to do. All I want you to know is that I'm okay. And it was a bad fibro flare. It was really bad. And I didn't pay attention. The one day that I got some relief, I decided to do a Freaky Friday or a Silly Saturday or whatever the hell it was. And it locked me back down again. So I had 2 more days of the fibro flare, and then I went into a dark place, mentally and emotional. And it can happen. You can go into a dark place where the spiritual is put to the back because you're fighting with mental and emotional demons. You know what I mean? So just had to show you my shirt. I'm still in a lot of pain. This shoulder and elbow are not working for me, but it's going to be a really easy supper. I'm going to get off here and call my husband shortly because it's 3:00. It's time for his break. And I'm going to decide what I want for supper because I'm going to be under food quarantine for like the next 3 days. And Sunday, I can't eat anything at all. I just got to drink that liquid crap. Become one with the cactus. Exactly. So glad you are okay. Gotta say, I was concerned. Everyone needs a break. I have a way of pushing myself past the point. I won't do it physically anymore, but I will do it mentally and emotionally, and it's a dangerous thing for me to do. Okay? I'm not a perfectly balanced human being. I have mood disorders that I've been medicated for like 27 years. All right? I have a family with a past that's taking us generations to dig out of the guck. Okay? I have to deal with these things on life's terms. Okay? And I was trying to make it on my terms. And that just two don't mix. Got to live life on life's terms. If nothing else, my son Briar taught me that. I should have been teaching him that, but he taught me that, right? Oh, and that's my spiritual color. It's my 2 colors, my 2 favorite colors. And I don't wear purple often because it's got to be a particular shade. This is called heather purple. Okay. And Zenny, what was wrong with these glasses, folks? Where did I get these? Oh, they're there. That's one. Which one's this? I got my glasses from Zenny. 3 pairs of them. And it turns out I accidentally made the mistake. No, it's not those ones. I accidentally made the mistake. Oh, come on. Friggin' childproof glass cases. I made the mistake of putting the wrong prescription in. I gave them my regular, the top of my bifocals, my distance glasses prescription. Well, these are Howie's. And Howie won't wear them. So where's my other ones then? But, so, these glasses are for distance. So I'm going to put one in the car and one in the truck, and I have another one. I'm going to put it in the coach. Because there's been times in the past where we've been on a long drive home and Howie has been falling asleep at the wheel and had to pull over and let me drive. And one time the lens fell out of my glasses and I couldn't get it back in. So I had to drive without my glasses. These don't have the bifocals, but I can use them for driving. So I'm going to put one in each vehicle. And I've got more of these coming. I have another pair of these in turquoise coming, and I have a couple other pairs just so we can change things up with my wardrobe. Because guess what? They were only $6.99. My son has Asperger's, and he is a blessing. So practical. Well, we thought Briar had Asperger's, but he's a little more high functioning than that. And like he said, if people want to know what kind of parents you are, why don't they ask me or ask Arthur? He said, if you asked me when I was 10, I probably would have said you were mean. He said, but guess what, Mom? He said, you know, your parenting is exactly what we needed. Was it always great? Hell no. Were you perfect? Hell no. He said, but we're here and we're alive and we love you. That's got to count for something. And I said, well, Briar, the way I look at it is, and this is the way I really tried to look at it, because I didn't realize in that what was going on Facebook, my parenting skills were being attacked. And therefore, my father's parenting skills were being attacked. And I realize now that that's a deflection so that those folks don't have to look at the things they missed in their own parenting skills. Got it. Done. But I said to Briar, all I ever tell anybody is that, have I been a perfect parent? Absolutely not. I was a psychotic at times. Okay? Remember, I've been on medication since Briar was a baby, right? But my kids still phone me. My kids still come home. My kids still want to be with us and do things with us and celebrate things with us. My kids love us. So everything else is irrelevant, isn't it? Everything else. Did I learn from my mistakes? Absolutely. And I'm not going to deny my mistakes. But the truth is, my kids still love me and they still come home and they can be honest with me. There's no holds barred when we talk. We talk honestly and openly. Okay? So he said, then that's all. And so when I told him, I said, at the end of the day, what matters is that you guys still want to come home. You still want to spend time with your parents. You still want to hang with us. And he goes, then that's all it has to be, Mom. Anybody else's opinion is irrelevant if our family is functioning in a healthy form. This is my high-functioning autistic son. So guess what? Out of the mouths of babes, right? Even though he's a 27-year-old babe. Deborah Nightingale, I'm so glad I have you in my life. You inspire me. Oh, please don't let me inspire you. Let my experiences inspire you, but not me. Because this is something else I've learned. Everything I have gone through, somebody else has also gone through. And if I can share my experience, my strength, and my hope from my version of experiences, and that gives you inspiration or hope, great. But don't make it about me. Make it about the experience. Do you understand? Because I'm only human and I screw up a lot. Hence, I had to take 2 days off to wrestle through a moral inventory so that I could sit here today without blame or anger or shaking my fist at something I've got no control over, right? We do the best we can. That's right. And we do try and improve. Like if you've ever said, I'm never going to do that to my kids, right? Well, sometimes we end up doing that. And sometimes we don't. Okay? But guess what? If each generation learns to improve on the mistakes they've seen in the past generation, then there's always hope. There's always hope. But ignoring the mistakes you made and only focusing on the good things you've done means that you're only half. If all you do is focus on the mistakes you made with your children, then you're going to obsess and it's going to be something you carry into the future. If all you do is focus on the accomplishments you did with your children and you don't own the mistakes you have made, then you're going to have problems going into the future. It all goes back, right? It all goes back to honesty with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anybody else. And it's my honesty that sometimes gets me in trouble, right? So I go on Zenny, I get my prescription, And I took my prescription to Costco. Oh my God, I've been throwing stuff all over this desk. I'm losing stuff. I took my prescription to Costco and had my bifocals done. I have to actually get really close. I had my bifocals done. And then when I sent away for my computer glasses, that these are these, all right, because the distance on these is not strong enough for me to read I can see from back here. But if I use my reading glasses, I have to get closer. So these are designed for the distance between me and my computer monitor so that I can see better, right? But I get my prescription. Don't buy bifocals online. Please do not buy bifocals online because they have to be adjusted, all right? They can't actually know where to put the line. I made that mistake 3 years ago. But when I did this, online, I did singular vision. You have to ask for the pupillary distance from your doctor and you fill everything out. But if in doubt, when you have the prescription, phone them. They will walk you through it. And then you can take a picture. You sit there and it'll say, turn to the left, and you turn to the left. And now come back to center. Turn to the right and come back. And if you do it, you've made a little thing where they can now try glasses on you virtually, and you can see how they look. I just ordered 3 new pairs. One of these, but in dark blue turquoise instead of purple, pink. One that are clear, but with rainbow across here. And not sure about the third pair, but I know I ordered 3. I am glad I'm feeling better too. When I get to the point where I have to remove myself from being online, then I'm in some serious wrestling with I'm wrestling with some, I don't want to bring that crap to you guys. That's why I went offline for 2 days, plain and simple, because you probably would have got a frothing at the mouth person who was crying and raging about how could I have allowed this to happen yet again with the same people? Why am I allowing the pattern to repeat itself? Blah, 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 blah. Froth, froth. That's what you would have gotten. Okay? I have worked through most of it and I'm here. Okay? I love you guys enough to keep you from that. When there have been times in the past that I have been frothing and raving. It's one of the reasons I removed the Facebook video after I did it. Okay? You guys don't need that. You just need to know that it actually happens and that there's a way around it and through it. And I'm here to tell you, I made it through the other side. Once again, I've had to learn a lesson from life on love. And what I assumed was I was giving unconditional love. I wasn't. I was putting conditions on my love. I love you, therefore you must love me back. Or you must at least treat me with respect and dignity. No, they don't have to do dick because it's unconditional. That means you give it and you let it go. And if you have to stay away from that person or those people, you can still love them. Just don't walk into the traps that get set. Recognize the patterns and the traps, right? Some people are not happy unless they're proving to you a point that they're right. Forget all the other things that make that statement an oxymoron. They're not going to be happy until you say you are right, even when they're not. So I refuse to say you're right when they're not. And it's all a matter of perception too, isn't it? Perspective. Nobody is the same. Nobody. So take the blessings and love and share it. Thank you, Furby. So, I'm so sorry it's so hot. Now listen, folks, it's now been over 2 hours. So I was going to run an experiment where I wasn't going to do our spiritual hug at the end. But you know what? It works. It's been working for me. I don't know about you, but if the people who stay, if it works for you, it works for you. And I'm grateful for it. But I am not going to stop doing what has helped me work through so many things, and that's sharing a spiritual hug with you all and the world. Okay? This is the way I get rid of any angst in the conversation we just had. I can now turn it over to my higher power and let it go. Letting go is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I still struggle with. Okay? So, for all those who care to, please help me close with a spiritual hug. This is a non-denominational prayer. Okay? This is a non-denominational plea to the higher power of your understanding. And if you don't want to watch it, exit stage left now. No judgment, no harm, no foul. That's okay. But don't stay and then come back later to bitch about my prayer and call me an evangelist and call me a fundy Christian and all those things. Never once have I identified with anything other than my higher power and me. Okay? So that's another thing that really struck me to the core. After all these years of doing away in my mind and in my heart with organized religion, somebody tries to slap a label on me. That's just not fair, right? So, spiritual hugs are for me. It works, exactly. So, I mean, I'm not asking anybody to sit through it that doesn't want to be here. Okay? But choices. Our entire life is about choices and where they take us. Right? Nice deep breath. Hey, God, it's us connected hearts and friends of connected hearts and just everybody who wants to be here. God, I thank you once again for bringing me through a really dark place. I thank you for my husband, who is loving and supportive and doesn't tell me how I have to heal. He just allows me to work through stuff and is there for me and supportive. Thank you for my supportive friends and family and children. And thank you, God, for you, because only you could pull me back from that really dark place. There's a lot of our friends here, God, that are dealing with COVID, illnesses, surgeries, dialysis, heart disease, rejection, addiction, all the negative things in life that can bring us down and try and divide us from you, Lord. But the truth is, we can only let those things divide us from you, God. We are the ones that allow that division to happen. You don't do it. We allow it. So, God, thank you for making me see that these horrible, turbulent things were happening because I was allowing them to happen. I was allowing them to happen. So, God, we're just going to take everybody who's heart sore, soul sore, brain sore, body sore, familial sore, everybody who is hurt or hurting or sad or ill. God, we're just going to come to you and lift and support each other up. But all those people that don't have that support system, that don't have anywhere to turn, God, we're going to lift them up to you. So that if for any reason you can't heal them, and we know you can, but we know you have your reasons, then at least you will give them and us what we need to get through to the next stage in our lives. Because what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Right, God? And you always got our backs. And please, let people understand that when I say God, I'm just using it as a word. This is my contact with my higher power. This is about everybody's contact with their higher power. Let that power flow. Amen. Namaste. Migwit. Shalom. Merry meet. Blessed be. Whatever your salutation is to your higher power, let it be spoke with a pure heart and with dignity, because you just don't know where our power goes once we turn it over, right? Take care. God bless. And all things being equal and ordinary, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. But don't panic if I miss a few days here and there. I will try and let you know ahead because it is canning season. But I am going to try and go back onto our live daily streams. And remember, October is coming, the live readings of the Little House in the Prairie books, an open discussion with the actual autobiography backup so that we can actually talk about the books, what's real in them, what's not, and the time that they were written. Okay? Take care. God bless. I love you guys. Mwah! Next one will probably be 45 minutes or less. I love you guys, and thank you. Thank you for having my back. All right? Take care and God bless.